From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right, Taylor Heating and Plumbing. Taylor 500 help for all of your service needs. You know, tailor-made service is customized to anything you have going on. If you have a drafty house, so you would need some insulation, of course, Taylor can do that. I mean, today it's 56 degrees that we come in. It's going to be 90 on Friday. I'm just going to tell you this right now. If 56 now, 90 on Friday, Taylor can help you out. You need your furnace today and your air conditioning. You need your furnace service. Taylor's got you covered. You need your air conditioning to be working on Friday. Taylor has got you covered. Your water heater blows. I'll tell you what, Taylor has got you covered with, of course, the best water heater in town. Okay. So make sure you call them with any kind of need. Heating, plumbing, home energy, comprehensive maintenance plans. They do everything. Don't stress the important repairs or replacements. They do financing that suits your budget. Taylor also has lots of jobs available. If you're looking for a job, they're hiring for some of the current opportunities: HVAC techs, plumbers, project managers, and office personnel. Precision Lawn and Garden is up there, North Avenue in Webster. Precision Lawn and Garden has been servicing surrounding Rochester area professional sales, service, and parts since 1969. They've got the big daddy of lawn mowers. They've got those zero turns. They've got push mowers, whatever you need, chainsaws. Precision Lawn and Garden will make sure that your lawn looks better than anyone else's in the neighborhood. And isn't that what it's all about? It's about the competition with the guy next door. So make sure that you have the best lawnmower in the neighborhood. Talk to Kimberly and Justin. They'll make sure to advise you on what's best for your lawn, and they'll make sure you have the best of the best. Kawasaki Engines, Cub Cadet, Aaron's, Precision Lawn and Garden, North Avenue in Webster. And you want your driveway to look good. If your lawn looks good, your driveway's got to look good, right? Express Sealers, 645-2010. That's 645-2010. Brian seals driveways on the west side. So get in line, call him up, get a reservation. He will come seal your driveway. It will look perfect. That's Express Sealers at 645-2010. Please support our advertisers. They do support us here at Kimberly's Revolution and the We the People podcast network. So get a lawnmower, get a water heater, have your driveway sealed, and support us through our advertisers. And let's do it. Let's do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Meteorologist Kimberly Ray. Live from the We the People broadcast studio in cloudy 56-degree Irondequoit, New York. She nailed it.
It's cold.
Hey.
It's cold.
They know who they are.
It's cold.
Neither of these two will ever apologize for anything. Here they are. It's Kimberly and Chad.
Why should I say sorry? I didn't do anything wrong.
That's not true.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Neither of you ever apologized to me before.
I got a quick question, Kimberly. For what?
For what did I do?
Exactly.
What did I do today?
I'll drink to that.
You said something about the best lawns in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So I have a question for you.
I've got an answer.
And luckily you're far enough away from me that I don't think you can reach across the table and slap me.
Oh boy.
Who has the best cans in your neighborhood? Because you know what I have today?
What do you have?
So this is free plug moment,
Oh,
right?
boy.
This is free plug
That's
moment.
a sexual harassment.
It is,
type
yeah,
comment.
very.
There's
All
an
of a sudden you're sounding like Loonsberry. Who's got the best cans? Oh,
This is an upstart business in Monroe County.
yeah.
It's called Rock Clean Cans.
I've heard about this
I
guy.
have on Facebook as well.
Yes.
Owned by a friend of the program,
Yes.
Dave Callis. You
Yes.
guys know who Dave Callis is, of
Do
course.
know who Dave Callis is.
Is he paying for this free spot, Mr. Hubble?
He is. I now have the best cans in my neighborhood.
You so do,
He
sir.
came to my house today
And he cleaned your can?
and he cleaned my cans. My cans are sparkling.
Wow,
Let me
I'm
tell
so
you.
glad that your can is sparkling.
So you can find
Most of us have to get a bidet or like a helper to do that. I don't know.
so you can get your clans, your home.
Clads.
Or your clan.
Oops. Can you say canceled?
Yes, you already are. Done.
RockCleanCans.com. RockCleanCans.com.
Tongue twister.
Awesome.
Go find him.
I like him. I like
Clean
it a
cans.
lot.
Does he come all the way out to Chili?
Can I tell
Yeah.
you that, a lot of times they're so, I can't have the trash cans in the garage in the summer because it reeks to high heaven. So I'm glad there's a service like that out there. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I went home
Yeah.
about an hour ago to check them out, and they are actually sparkling.
Yeah, well,
good.
good. That's the way it's
Look
supposed to be.
Yep.
All right, so I'm Kimberly of Kimberly's Revolution. Of course, sitting across from me, talking about his cans. Of course, is the broker of Revere Realty, and he's also an attorney. He is also the CEO of Tax Opposer. So if your taxes are out of whack, Chad Hummel can make that happen for you. He'll go to court, try to get those taxes. You're like you do everything. You're the broker of the real estate agent that we operate under the umbrella here at Revere Realty. You're a lawyer. You're the CEO
That's why I have to keep my cans clean.
of the Tax Opposer. So you do a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
I, of course, am a real estate agent and podcaster, former radio person before the cancel culture set in. And sitting kitty corner to me is just Tom.
Hey, Kimberlina.
Tom is an appraiser, and he's also COO of the Tax Appraiser.
Of nothing. I'm
I'm
COO of nothing. Hey, you know what, Kimberlina?
Mm.
You know you've made it in life when you could pay somebody to clean your garbage cans.
I know, right?
Right.
Seriously. I don't have, I
They're
don't
so
have-
dirty.
I don't have nearly enough time today to clean my trash cans. Can I
Wow.
please have someone else do it for me?
Dave,
I
if
just
you're
cannot.
listening, this is horse shit.
I cannot clean my trash cans. I am far.
Only people in
I'm
Mendon.
far too superior.
Only people in Mendon get their
I'm-
trash cans cleaned.
I'm,
I live in a Ronda Hood, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you do.
Poor Dave had to. He had
Trying to be better than that neighbor of yours across the street who's head of some what the crap party. I don't know
Yeah,
what party
he's
is
somebody.
it. Yeah, he's somebody. All right.
Dave had to arm himself to the teeth just to come into a Ronda Hood today.
That's what I hear. I do it
Yeah.
every time I cross the border from Greece. I say, where's my body armor?
Right?
Good
That's
luck
right.
with the business, Dave. We wish you the best.
Absolutely. Austin, our producer, is here. Woo woo! Austin.
Hello.
There he is, giving the big thumbs up. We love Austin as always. If you're thinking about doing a podcast, and why wouldn't you? We're having so much fun. You call Fitz at Rockvox Productions. That's ROCVOX Productions. You can find them on the interwebs, I'm sure, or even on the dark webs. I don't know where he lives, but somewhere between the interwebs and the dark webs. No, I think he's fairly above board. Or you can find him in his backyard.
With the spider webs.
You can find Fitz in the backyard around his. He likes his little hot tub or swimming pool or whatever he's got. But Fitz at Rockvox Productions makes all of this happen, and he's so good at it. Yesterday was a little bit of a dark show. We want to start with a little bit of humor, and then we want to start with a guy who most of us would crap our pants. And by the way, today's show is Whose Money Is It Anyway? Whose money is it anyway? It's not mine.
Nobody knows.
No, it's
generated a lot of talk on Facebook this week.
I don't have any money. So we're going to get to whose money is it anyway. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the funny of TikTok, which I always love. I like to find one funny TikTok. And then we're going to talk about this guy who did something so phenomenal. You may have already seen it. You might not have. But any of us faced with the same situation would literally crap our pants and then probably die. But let's do the TikTok and then let's do the guy.
That was on just Tom's 5 minutes yesterday that you cut. So we didn't get to talk about it.
We had a lot going on yesterday. All right.
I
We had a
know.
lot going on yesterday's show, The Buffalo Killer. If you haven't watched it, please do.
Yes, it's my fault you acted like an asshole. I'm the dickhead fairy, and I sprinkled asshole dust on your head when you weren't looking. Yes,
Go play that again.
Please do.
yes, it's my fault you acted like an asshole. I'm the dickhead fairy, and I sprinkled asshole dust on your head when you weren't looking.
Her cup says fuckity fuckity fuck fuck.
Fuck.
Fuck. Fuckity fuck fuck. Which I love.
That's
Who
the best.
doesn't need that cup?
Mhm.
Who does? Everyone needs that cup. That's all I'm saying. And you wanted to talk about the guy in the plane, right?
I have a Locust Hill coffee mug in front of me right now.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Again, well, not all of us can afford to go to Locust Hill or have our trash cans cleaned.
I
so-
said Locust Club, not Locust Hill.
Oh, Locust. Okay.
All right.
A Locust Club. Whatever.
Let's talk about an airplane landing.
Yes.
The story of Darren Harrison,
I saw this guy.
and ready for this?
Yeah.
Captain Morgan. Not just Tom Morgan, who's sitting next to me,
Or the drink, Captain Morgan.
or the drink Captain Morgan.
which
but
I do appreciate.
yeah, but Captain Morgan was the captain on the ground. He was the flight control individual,
Right.
right? That
Air
basi-
traffic control guy.
Thank
right.
you, air traffic control guy, Captain
Mhm.
Morgan. That's who guided him in. That's who guided Darren Darren Harrison in once Darren was able to make radio contact with him. So
Well, us Morgans are get her done people, Chad.
You certainly are.
nice.
You certainly are.
So I think we have a video of the plane landing.
So here's what's going on. So what happens is that he's in the plane with this pilot, and the pilot all of a sudden has some kind of a medical issue and passes out. Is that what happens?
I think he had COVID. Yeah,
And no, he did not have.
he was vaccinated.
What's wrong with you?
He was thrice
He
vaccinated.
hyperventilated with his mask on, Chad.
Something they're in. So the flight was they were going from Florida to the Bahamas. Is that
No,
right?
Coming back to Florida
Coming back to Florida from
a
the
Gulf,
Bahamas.
from a Gulf trip.
Okay, right. And so the pilot just passes out from something. So
Yeah.
let's hear the air traffic control chatter.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot gone incoherent. I have no idea how to fly the airplane, but I'm staying in 9100. Number 333 Lima Delta, Roger. What's your position? I have no idea. I see the coast of Florida in front of me, and I have no idea. What was the situation with the pilot? He is incoherent. He is out. Number 3 Lima Delta, Roger. Try to hold the wings level and see if you can start descending for me.
What?
Push forward on the controls and descend at a very slow rate.
Captain Morgan took
You
care of
just
the
witnessed a
captain.
couple passengers land that plane. Man, they did a great job. Did you say the passengers landed the airplane? That's correct. Oh my God, no, great job. No flying experience. We got a controller that worked them down. That's a flight instructor.
How about that?
Wait a second. So, I mean, you heard what just happened.
Yeah.
This flight controller says, what's going on? What's your position?
Yeah.
You hear Darren Harrison.
I
right?
don't know.
He says, I don't know. And then they have a discussion.
Keep the wings steady and land the plane.
They have a
The hell?
calm, normal discussion. My wife and I, when we're trying to figure out who's picking up who from softball and track, we're screaming at each other.
Of course.
The flight controllers
Right.
got to be figuring, okay, this plane will be in the ocean in about 30 seconds.
Right.
That guy's got to be thinking who, by the way, he's expecting a baby in 2 months. His
Right.
wife is 7 months pregnant. And he's sitting up there thinking that my life is going to be over in 30 seconds
Of
and I'm
course.
never going to know my daughter. My daughter's never going to know me. And they're having a calm discussion about landing this plane.
Was there another video that you wanted to play
Chad.
of the guy or no?
Chad,
Yeah,
us
right.
Morgans don't panic either.
Yeah.
So
His name's not Morgan, but the guy who talked him down
The
is
flight
Morgan,
guy
right?
is.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hey, you know what? Could you imagine going to the bar every weekend with this guy now? Jay, hey, did you hear the story about me landing the plane?
Yeah.
I don't have any experience. Like, really, Sully? We're going to do this every
Right,
week?
exactly.
You were going to have to hear every time how you landed the damn plane.
unreal.
How old does that get at some point?
Yeah, so he went on, I think it was Samantha Guthrie. Is that?
The Today Show?
Yeah, he went on the Today Show. Normally, I wouldn't want to talk about the Today Show, but
Right.
he went on the Today Show, gave an exclusive interview. I have a couple clips of him talking to Samantha Guthrie.
Can we hear those?
All right.
Can we play those?
It
Okay.
was a life or death situation. Either you do what you have to do
It's a
to
badass.
control the situation or you're going to die. And that's what I did.
In the most terrifying moment of his life, Darren Harrison proved calm and collected.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot gone incoherent.
The 39-year-old, whose career focuses on flooring sales, was traveling home from a fishing trip in the Bahamas on board a single-engine Cessna 208.
Big a deal.
Only two others were on board, the pilot and the pilot's friend.
My nightmare's always been when I go on flights like this. What happens if something health-wise happens to the pilot? What's going to happen?
You've thought about that before.
Oh, I've thought about it many a times.
Initially, Darren said everything seemed to be normal.
And you didn't seem to be a nervous flyer. You took a shot at the cockpit with your feet up and back.
Yep. I was just back there relaxing.
But shortly after taking that photo, he heard from the pilot and everything changed.
I saw he kind of did a move like this and said, guys, I got to tell you, I don't feel good. And I said, what's wrong?
I have COVID.
And he said, I got a headache
Oh,
And
that's
I'm
definitely
fuzzy.
COVID.
and I just don't feel right. And I said, what do we need to do?
Get him a
And at
mask.
that point, he didn't respond at all. He was already done.
What was the position of his body in that moment?
He was still leaned back.
So he never slumped forward.
Correct. Never slumped forward at all. At that point, he wasn't responding.
At all. So, I mean, that's crazy, right? So this guy lands the plane with the help of the air traffic control.
Do we know what happened to the pilot?
I didn't. I
Well,
think he's
hold
okay.
on. I think
right?
Austin, we now know. I was able to reach out to Mr. Harrison yesterday,
Of course you were.
and I was able to speak with him.
Oh boy.
I was able to speak with the pilot.
Uh-huh.
I was able to speak with the flight attendant
Sure.
and the movie producer.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And Austin, Austin came with me and we recorded it.
Oh.
Austin, can you play that, please?
Jeez.
Dr. Mr. Hammond ate fish, and Randy said there are 5 more cases, and they all had fish too.
Yeah, the co-pilot had fish. What did the navigator have?
He had fish.
All right. Now we know what we're up against. Every passenger in this plane who had fish for dinner will become violently ill in the next half hour.
Just how serious is it, Doctor?
Extremely serious. Starts with a slight fever, dryness of the throat. As the virus penetrates red blood cells, the victim becomes dizzy. Begins to experience an itching, a rash. From there, the poison goes to work on the central nervous system, causing severe muscle spasms, followed by the inevitable drooling. At this point, the entire digestive system collapses, accompanied by uncontrollable flatulence, until finally the poor bastard is reduced to a quivering, wasted piece of jelly.
And there you go.
Finally, the poor bastard goes and sees Dr. Mike Mendoza and gets
Right.
boosted.
There you go.
That's funny. Good
Perfect.
work. Good work, Chad.
So yeah, so there you go. All right. Whose money is it anyway?
Oh God, how do we segue to this shit?
We were yesterday's show really talked a great deal about the Buffalo Killer, who I refuse to name his name because he's not important. The people that were important were unfortunately the people that he hunted down and brutally murdered on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Buffalo at the Top store on Jefferson. And this kid that drove 3 hours had planned it out, had in February had planned to do the same thing in Rochester, had locations that he was going to stop out in Rochester. And
One of them was Walmart. I heard you guys
the
talk
Hudson
about
Avenue Walmart,
right up the road, a
Mount
mile from
Olivet, Baptist Church. There were some places over at Brooks Ave and
You said a
Thurston.
Walgreens.
Thurston Road.
Walgreens,
You said a
Thurston
Walgreens.
Ave. So I mean, there were several locations that he had targeted that he was going to hunt down and specifically shoot and kill Black people. Crazy. Can we show the picture of the kid that I found today where he's got, that was him yesterday, the picture of the kid with the helmet
Good looking kid.
on today. Yeah, he's an idiot. There he is with the helmet that he wore with the GoPro on top that he could live stream on Twitch. There he is. Yeah.
When was that? Do we know when that photo was taken?
I'm not exactly sure. I don't have a timestamp on that picture. I'm not
Unreal.
exactly sure.
You sick fuck.
So then, of course, we find out that one of the first victims that he shot and killed was the retired police officer, the Buffalo police officer that actually did return fire. But unfortunately, this guy was had body armor to the gills all over everywhere that anywhere that the police officer shot, the bullets just kind of, didn't do any good. And I don't see a lot of police officers at the stores that I go to. I don't at the Mount Reed Tops or the Mount Reed Wegmans. I never see any guards there. I go to the Ladder Road Wegmans. I don't see any. At the places I go, I don't see police officers.
Gated communities.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, I don't know.
Try the Aranda Hood Wegmans. That's literally, if you go to the window over here at the other end of the room, you can see the Wegmans across the street.
Is there a guard that's over there?
Routinely, there's Irondequoit police officers in uniform.
In
police
uniform,
cars,
standing in the store.
standing in the store.
Okay,
Routinely.
I had no idea.
On average, I'd say once a week I see them.
So, I guess the question is now, unfortunately, is do we need police? And I know a time or two, I call it the crazy Wegmans, the East Avenue Wegmans, where people were getting jumped in the parking lot. It happened about 2 or 3 years ago. All of a sudden, there was like a spate of these jumpings in the parking lot of mostly elderly women that young asshole guys knew that they could take advantage of, and they would jump these older women, steal their purses and their groceries, and take off in the Wegmans parking lot on East Avenue. It stopped after they got armed security there.
Well, see, and then So now this is the issue, right? This is the issue that's presented itself with, and yours truly kind of started a World War III on Facebook this week by posting pictures that I'll have Austin put up in a minute. I posted pictures of uniformed Irondequoit, an Irondequoit police car, and then inside of the Wegmans across the street from here were two uniformed Irondequoit police officers at Wegmans. And then I drove down to Tops, which is a mile down the road.
Right.
The store that was targeted, not the exact store, right? But the franchise.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, there's no Irondequoit police. So the question becomes, if there is an actual crime that's being threatened or has been occurring at a particular location, like you just described. So at the East Ave Wegmans, there's multiple crimes that have been occurring. There's a pattern, kind of like a serial killer, right? You get multiple reports. You're following up on leads. Yes, absolutely. Send the police. Let's create a presence. Let's create an opportunity for arrest. Let's create a deterrent factor, so on and so forth. And if that's what was going on at Wegmans the other day when I took these photographs, so be it. The problem is, and there you go. So that's, I mean, look, that Irondequoit police car is damn near inside aisle. That's on aisle 1. That's like a Irondequoit police car on aisle 1, please.
It's right by the apples.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You grab a bouquet of flowers
and an apple
and an IPD car.
Right.
I mean, look at
anyone that's familiar with it. And if you're out of state and you don't know what a Wegmans are, a Wegmans is.
Maybe it's like an indoor car showroom where they're
I feel bad for you.
Vehicle.
First off, I feel bad for you if you've never been into a Wegmans.
Yeah, Wegmans is fantastic.
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I feel sorry that you live in a state where you don't have a Wegmans. That's just me. Go ahead.
So I go inside, and look, I wasn't there stalking IPD. I was there with the honeydew list. I'm there 3 nights a week. By 4:30 every night, I get a text from my wife that says, we need this, and this. So I go to Wegmans across the street. I get this, and I forget this. But then, so I go in, and there's 2 uniformed Irondequoit police officers, and they're in there. They're not there making an arrest for a shoplifting.
They're standing
there. They're there guarding the place.
Okay.
They're there creating a presence. Look, that car is parked literally in the walkway into the vestibule there to create a presence.
Right.
So, and because I've seen the Irondequoit police there before, my initial thought was, okay, well, obviously Wegmans gets preferential treatment. There's an Irondequoit cop inside, so on and so forth. It always kind of rubs me the wrong way. I took a whole bunch of shit on Facebook for declaring that. But then all of a sudden it hit me. I'm like, well, wait a second. We just had this situation that occurred this weekend.
Right. 10 people killed.
Maybe there's been
13
and I had heard that Rochester was a target.
It was.
So I mentally, I kind of stood down for a minute. I said, all right, well, maybe this is.
When the hell's that ever happened?
I said, maybe I said to myself,
well, just a minute.
Maybe there's been a credible threat. Maybe a threat was called into Wegmans.
Sure.
So they should be here, right?
Right.
Then I said, okay, because now I couldn't stand down any longer. So I went in, got the stuff I needed to get, and I drove down to Tops on the way home.
Which is just right down the street.
Don't you have people that shop for you, Chad?
And you took a picture.
Wegmans will get your own groceries and they'll
shut up.
And you can just drive up and pick them up.
And what do you see in that picture, Kimberly, Tom? Anything?
I don't see any cop cars.
I don't see anything.
There's a construction worker there.
There's no cop cars.
There's no cop cars, which would say to me that there's no armed cop inside the store.
Doesn't look like there's any customers either.
So you know what people are telling me on Facebook? Among telling me to shut up and eat shit and this, that, and the other thing.
Why would they tell you that?
They're telling me, well, that's because Tops didn't pay for the cops. And I go,
whoa. Why is Tops needs to pay for the cops to be there? That's our.
Well, see, that's the point.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Money is it?
See, that's the point.
Whose money is it anyway?
Which one is it? Is it that Wegmans paid for the cops and Tops didn't? I can work with both theories, but I can also show how both theories don't make sense in this context. If Wegmans has a contract with individuals that also happen to be Irondequoit police officers to come in and work security, that's one thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you're there in your nice fancy golf shirt that says asset protection for Wegmans, and you also happen to be during the day an Irondequoit police officer, so be it. So be it. And if Tops doesn't want to pay that money to those off-duty, overtime, so to speak, moonlighting Irondequoit police officers, you're right. That
I
theory,
agree.
that position that you're taking with me on Facebook is 100% correct. However, you can't have it both ways. And that's an Irondequoit police car that I see there. And the officers inside were in uniform. And one of them had a few stripes on his sleeve. Okay. They weren't there as private security guards.
They were there as
uniformed Irondequoit police officers.
On Irondequoit time.
On Irondequoit time.
That would be Irondequoit taxpayer time.
Correct. And
just so you know, and by the way, Wegmans makes enough money to hire their own freaking armed security.
They do.
Guys.
And they have them. They have
their own money. They don't need Irondequoit cops coming out spending Irondequoit taxpayer money to hang out at Wegmans. Bullshit.
Yeah. And and then this is where
I gotta tell you, grease cops don't park at any of the grease Wegmans and stand guard inside.
Are you sure though?
I'm positive. They will sit in the parking lot of the Grease Ridge Mall, or sometimes they patrol inside, but you know what happens at the Grease Ridge Mall.
Well, is Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons jealous that they're not there?
I don't know.
And again, look, just to be clear, I have no problem because there's been a spate of crime in a particular location. Absolutely, the Irondequoit police should be every once in a while driving through the parking lot of Wegmans, Tops, Aldi's, 530 Titus Avenue, right here across the street. Right? Let's keep an eye on our businesses and our residences. We all pay for that police force,
of course.
But the question here is very limited and narrow. So all these crazies, and look, many of them are people that I agree with, and they agree with me on 99.9% of these political, so to speak, issues. But then you post something that has to do with the police, and you're not kissing their ass, and all of a sudden people go nuts. The people with the Blue Lives Matter profiles, all over their Facebook pages, they go nuts. They can't take the goggles off. And there's a couple simple questions to ask, right? So when you want to say that it's about public safety, okay, again, well then you shouldn't be there acting as your Wegmans's, personal security guards, right? You can't have it both ways. These are the simple questions that you have to ask. Number one, if they are there and they are hired as Wegmans security, which is what a lot of people, as I laid out, want to claim, then they're there in uniform, okay? If a security guard, if just a regular old classic security guard for Wegmans makes a stop of a shoplifter, they don't have to worry about constitutional rights because it's private versus private. So they don't have to worry about Mirandizing the suspect.
Right,
They don't have to worry about improper searches and seizures.
Right.
But guess what? When you're there with your police car and you're there in your uniform with that Glock on your hip, when you approach the person who's the so-called suspect, are you Irondequoit police or are you Wegmans security? Because if you're in that uniform, you got to employ Miranda. You got to employ all of the Bill of Rights. You got to employ the Constitution at that point. It's all nonsense, people. It's nonsense, and they've all bought it. They've all drank the Kool-Aid. I've been reading hundreds of comments on Facebook the last 3 days. It's unbelievable that people just lose their minds and they don't think straight anymore.
That is crazy. Someone says, what was that one comment from Sean Michael?
Sinker.
Wegmans pays for RPD on East Avenue. Who's to say they don't pay for
That's my point.
Irondequoit PD cars?
Sean,
Wait, I don't even know.
They can't. It's illegal. You cannot buy an Irondequoit police car. Only the taxpayers can.
First off, how does Sean know? I know that there's a guy who's security. His name's Al, and he works security. He's a private security guy. To be fair, there's always police located at gates in East Avenue Wegmans.
I don't want to be fair. I want to be right or wrong. I don't want to be fair.
That's Lavelle.
What did Lavelle say?
Lavelle says, I spoke to an employee that did state it's due to shoplifting at those locations.
All right, Lavelle. This is what I want to say to Lavelle. First and foremost, I want to say to Lavelle.
You're sitting in his chair, Chad.
Yeah, Lavelle sits in my chair.
Oh, okay. Sure he does.
That was first and foremost. Lavelle, what I wanted to say to Lavelle was, listen, talk to your boss, Jose. And I don't know why you guys don't have me on your podcast so we could talk about these damn issues. That's what I wanted to say. And the whiskey, I don't know. Is it Lavelle or who buys that whiskey? It's good.
What kind of whiskey?
The Buffalo Trace. Who bought the Buffalo Trace that's in the other room?
I'm not sure. I'll go Jose on that.
That's good stuff.
Well, first off,
that's what I wanted to say to Lavelle.
Well, go
Lavelle's
ahead, and
been
then I'll
drinking
make my cut. These stores, you know, besides Grease Ridge Mall, which have had violent situations happen, and I know that the Grease Ridge Mall regularly has the patrol of the Grease Police, and rightly so. I know that, but Wegmans and Tops and whatever should employ their own private armed security.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
It should not be city police or town police at the cost to taxpayers.
Unless there's actually one of two things going on. Somebody picked up the phone, dialed 911 and said, there's a crime in progress, or there's a threat of a crime to be occurring.
Right.
And I need police, to respond. If that happens, fine. Or again, if there's been a spate of crime in a particular location and they're trying to deploy deterrence, trying to deploy presence.
Right.
But which one is it? Tell me which one it is first. Don't listen to my argument and then keep pivoting and pivoting and pivoting and pivoting. Tell me why there was an Irondequoit police car in that parking lot in the vestibule next to the flowers, and tell me why there was 2 uniformed Irondequoit police officers inside. And they weren't there because there was a threat. They weren't there because there was shoplifting. They were there because there's a nice, warm, cozy, fuzzy corporate government partner relationship between Wegmans Corporation and the police agencies and the government, right? Wegmans, who's the daughter? Can we say her name?
Starts with a C.
Is she a realtor? Colleen?
She is Colleen Wegman.
Starts with a C?
She is not a realtor.
All right. Is
She is
Colleen a
not.
realtor?
She is not.
All right, so I can talk about her?
Yes.
All right, so Colleen Wegman, I believe, sat on the Finger Lakes Economic Development, blah, blah, insert acronym that government likes to use here.
Right.
The Wegmans sit on those boards. Okay.
Of course
they're all
they
in
do.
each other's back pockets.
Why do you think it took so long to get the big supermarket over there on Monroe? Why do you think that has taken? They have Whole Foods. Why do you think that took so long?
The Denellis don't have the power over the Wegmans.
Because the Denellis have been fighting all of the Wegmans bullcrap lawsuits that have been thrown at them. That's why.
Hey, Chad, nothing to see here. Back the blue people, 100%.
All right, real quick.
Listen, I'm a back the blue person, but literally, my daughter is a police officer, but the police officer's time should not be wasted by big corporations that can afford hire armed security guards.
That's right.
End of story.
And
or pay these guys overtime.
Lavelle buttoned up the story here. Lavelle buttoned up the story. He told us to move on. He said, I don't have a boss by the name of Jose. That's what I like to hear.
I don't know who Lavelle's boss is.
Damn straight, Lavelle.
You know what? Lavelle can have any boss he wants.
His boss is whatever female he's seeing.
Yes. As with all men.
Bring me on the show, Lavelle.
Your woman is your boss. That's all I'm going to say. Bob Duffy also tweeted out something that made you crazy. Bob Duffy.
Bob Duffy's in the news?
Bob Duffy, who is a former police chief of the city.
Has Bob Duffy been here yet on Jose's show? Jose brings everyone in.
Bob Duffy, who is also the former mayor of Rochester. Bob Duffy, who is also the former lieutenant governor of this great state of New York.
Great.
Bob Duffy tweeted out something that I think made a lot of people crazy.
Oh, it made a lot of sense, too, let me tell you.
Do we want to show what that tweet was?
As he shit it right out of his ass.
After the Buffalo killer
did this tweet right out of his ass.
Did his thing on Saturday and unfortunately, murdered, the lunatic murdered 10 people and injured 3 others. Bob Duffy found the great brain trust, thought it would be a good idea to tweet this.
Chad, why isn't that true, Chad? Come on.
You have to be 21 to purchase a beer, but you can purchase an AR-15 Bushmaster at 18. Hey, I don't know, Bob, if you've heard
Vietnam War.
You can also
fucking idiot
fight for your country against terrorists trying to take down this country. Fight for your country, die for your country at 18. I don't know if you've heard that, but you can.
Look, the best thing about an asshat like Bob Duffy posting such an idiotic,
He's a police chief, by the way.
moronic, intellectually dishonest tweet like that it's so easy to break down. It's so easy to show what an idiot he is and what a politician he is and what a bureaucrat
why would he
is.
tweet? You know he knows better. Why would he? Okay,
And you know what? He tweeted that, by the way. He doesn't have handlers.
No, I know, but
He
why
tweets
would
his own tweets.
Why would he? He's a police chief.
He tweets his own tweets.
Yeah.
Why would he tweet something like that? And by the way,
Because he's a bureaucrat.
you have
Looking
to
to get back into politics, probably.
he knows that the majority of the crime on the streets are from criminals on city streets
With illegal guns?
who are teenagers with illegal guns.
16-year-olds?
14, 15, 16 years old.
Wasn't he the police chief when Trayvon Martin was 14 and
Yes.
shot Pearson? Or,
Yes.
not Pearson.
Not Gerald Pearson. Yes, I know who you're thinking. I can't think of the name.
Why can't I think of his name? I played softball with his dad.
Yeah, I know it's escaping me. I can't think
It's
of it either.
terrible. My mind is.
But drive-bys nightly in the streets of Rochester. He knows this. He knows that it's not going to make any difference if you're 21 or 25 or whatever
Exactly.
the age is. It's not going to matter what the age is because the 15-year-old criminals on city streets
aren't allowed to have the guns.
who aren't allowed to have the guns
Have them anyway.
and are going to do regular drive-bys, shooting up houses where good, hardworking families live.
And you know what? Bob Duffy, I think we have a picture of it, Austin. Bob Duffy was the lieutenant governor, right? Can we zoom in on that picture? Let's look at the smiling clown behind Cuomo. I mean, first off, it's the who's who in this picture of who's in prison right now. Sheldon Silver, prison. Cuomo, disgraced
Dead.
ex-governor.
I think he's dead.
Is Silver dead? Did he die in prison?
I think he's dead.
Did he die in
They let
prison?
him out. But I think he's dead.
Yeah, he was in prison. They let him out and he died. I
I
don't think is he dead?
think he's dead.
Pee Wee Herman.
Who's the other one? Bruno? Who's the other Democrat, power broker? Was it Bruno that went to prison under Cuomo? But they're all disgraced,
Yeah,
right?
Sheldon Silver is dead.
Good.
I knew
It
he
should
was. I knew I wasn't stupid. He died in January. Well, I can be stupid sometimes. But yeah,
COVID.
he's dead.
Yeah.
COVID guy.
But they're all criminals.
But
you're
there's
right.
Cuomo.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, there's Duffy in the background. There's Duffy in the background with this like perverted smile on his face
Mhm.
as he's looking over the shoulder of Cuomo, who's signing the New York Safe Act. Austin, can we pull up the New York Safe Act mission statement?
Oh boy.
Oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to read this.
Can you
we-
inflate it? There you go.
Let me try to read this. Okay, here's the mission statement of the New York Safe Act. Let's find out if any of this stuff actually has been carried through or is true. The Safe Act prevents criminals. Was the kid in Buffalo a criminal?
No.
No, he wasn't formally a criminal.
He
so to
he
speak.
wasn't a criminal at all. He,
He
had
had no
not
criminal
broken.
record.
He had no criminal record.
Okay,
He
so
had no criminal record, and he had no psychiatric record. He had never been judicially forced to undergo psychiatric treatment.
so the New York Safe Act prevents criminals and the dangerously mentally ill. Hadn't he been flagged though at the school?
He had said that he was going
They
to.
sent him for an eval, right?
He was forced to go. He was not forced. He had to go for a mental evaluation. He spent 2 days in a hospital. He
Mhm.
was released, but he was not forced by a judge to undergo psychiatric evaluation and treatment. And that's the difference. That's the difference.
Okay, well then why wasn't he? Right? In other words, he made a threat.
He made a threat
Okay, so he makes a threat
because it
Nobody
never
follows up on
they
it.
never took him to court.
So the New York Safe Act is supposed to prevent criminals and the dangerously mentally ill. Well, okay, I guess at this point, now that 10 people are dead,
Mhm.
and we have a picture of him in his, World War II, Nazi style helmet,
Yeah.
smiling into his phone.
Mhm.
We could probably pretty much assume at this point that he's mentally ill.
Sure looks like it, Chad.
Is he not mentally ill
Well-
if he drives 3 hours and kills people?
Sure looks like it, Chad.
I'm just gonna. I
Or
don't
is he
think.
just a racist?
No, I think he's just. I think he's just a racist killer. I think he's evil, and I
you
think
you think though that you can take life in cold blood like that? And when I say
I
cold
want you
blood, I
to-
don't mean rhetorically. I mean it's cold blood.
he went up to white people and said, "I didn't mean to scare you. I'm very sorry."
That's my point. He's
and went to the next person and shot and killed them. You know that,
to
right?
me that smacks of mental illness. Racist or not, he could be both.
No, that tells me he was sane of mind and knew exactly what the fuck he was doing.
All right.
I completely
Look,
disagree with you.
No, but
this
no,
guy
look,
had the manifesto.
fair enough.
He had it all. I mean, yeah, okay. He's obviously crazy, but he knew exactly what
I
he
think
was doing.
Both of those things can be true.
And he thought he was I don't know, in his right mind. I mean, I don't know.
Chad, I agree with Kimberly.
No, listen.
I mean,
those can both be true.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
You can be crazy and know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
I do it every day.
Kimberly, I agree with Chad.
Okay.
See?
I'm so glad.
Tom just proved my point.
Exactly.
I don't crazy and know exactly what you're doing.
I think the guy was driven by the devil and is evil, and I think that he's one of the minions out there to cause misery on the earth.
My point of bringing Duffy into this, though, is so Duffy stands there, okay, and he proudly stands there as he watches the New York SAFE Act be signed, and he tries to make political hay out of it, all right, and then it doesn't work. It was never going to work, right? No governor with a pen is ever going to stop a lunatic or a criminal with a gun, right?
Right.
The pen and the paper aren't ever going to stop the gun and the body armor. All right. So they stand there and they try to advance their political careers. And then all these years later, Bob Duffy's still kicking around collecting taxpayer money. Okay.
Yeah.
He's still kicking
Whose
around.
money is that, Chad?
Yeah. Whose money is it? There you go, Tom. Keep it going.
Whose money is it anyway?
Keep the name of the show relevant. I love it. So Duffy's still kicking around on the taxpayer money. And then he puts that tweet out there. And it's like, okay, Duffy, let me ask you this, buddy. If you think that there should be some law, because clearly that's what he's advocating for. He's a politician. He's a bureaucrat. He wants more laws. He wants more regulation, because the regulation that he was intimately involved in back in 2012 didn't work. So now he wants more. Why didn't he advocate then to make the law be 21? You can't purchase a firearm until you're 21. If you're found with a firearm under the age of 21, you should be thrown in jail. Why didn't Duffy say that back then? If he thinks it's the case now.
How can a country say you can't buy a gun till you're 21 and send men and women off to war at 18 to kill people?
Point. That's the point. You
cannot.
Can't say it. That's
you
the point.
Cannot do that. And by the way,
unless you're a jackass politician like Duffy who's trying to score brownie points
on
with
Twitter,
the Joe Morellis of the world on Twitter.
Kathy Hochul, who is our governor, was giving a press conference today. She was there with Senator Chucky Schumer. And
Chuck U. Schumer.
And she said that the gun used in the mass shooting in Buffalo that left 10 dead was obtained legally by the suspect. I said that yesterday. He had one that was purchased by his father and given to him at the age of 16. He then purchased one in 2020, and he purchased the third in 2021, and he had all three of those with him on Saturday. Those were all of them purchased legally. One was a shotgun. Yeah. Right? He only had to undergo a check for one of them. And it was just a check for a mental evaluation, and he passed. But Kathy Hochul goes on to say that the one gun was modified with parts from Pennsylvania, making it illegal. She goes on to say, and I quote,
so she proves my point.
That's why we need a national gun policy that is common sense, like we have here in New York. We need this everywhere.
Yeah, she's trying to tell Pennsylvania.
And I would say, why, Kathy? Because our gun laws are so successful here, because we have so much less crime here in Rochester and in New York City and in Chicago than we do anywhere else. Is that why we need to make everyone else adopt to the laws of New York, because we're so much less crime ridden?
Yeah.
Is that why?
These angry leftists,
ridiculous.
These angry leftists always expose themselves, right? And they're in the
what? Who's exposing themselves?
They always expose themselves at the finest hour. So Kathy Hochul makes that remark, and what you have to, of course, recognize is what you have to take her at her word.
Yeah.
What she's saying is, we don't believe in individual rights. Well, we certainly don't believe in individual rights, but Kathy Hochul doesn't believe in states' rights. She doesn't believe that Pennsylvania has a right. To regulate its own state.
No.
So, okay, Kathy, but then let's take your position to its logical conclusion. Oh, so you want Pennsylvania to have the same laws, the same stupid, ineffective laws that we have.
That's why they
All right.
always say, go down to Pennsylvania and buy fireworks, and you're going to get caught coming back into New York with fireworks.
Yeah. So then the killer goes to Ohio,
Stupid.
and then we pass a law, and then we federalize Ohio, and then the killer goes to Indiana, and then so on and so forth, and then they go to Mexico. It's not going to stop. A criminal is a criminal is a criminal. So he either had, and the interesting part about this case, it's a perfect representation of how ridiculous the gun laws are, because he did things that were legal and he did things that were illegal.
Right.
You can't stop either one.
You cannot.
Because the politicians who were all in on the SAFE Act, like I just illustrated, apparently they allowed all this stuff to be legal. So I guess they're idiots. So I guess when they told us that the SAFE Act that was passed in the aftermath of Sandy Hook, the reason why the SAFE Act came into place was because of what happened in Sandy Hook back in 2012. I guess they didn't pass enough laws, right? But then, of course, we also know that no matter how many laws you pass, you go to Pennsylvania and you do it legally. And then you come back here because you're a criminal,
right?
Because you're insane, because it doesn't matter what the law says, right? If you want to,
you find your way around it.
If you want to stalk a 16-year-old girl in Myrtle Beach and rape her and murder her,
you're going to.
You're going to do it. You can't legislate morality. 100%. You can't make evil that's in my heart and mind. You can't stop that with a law.
You can't make it go
100%.
away.
And these stupid ass politicians that think they can don't actually think they can. They just know they're capitalizing on stupidity.
Right.
And they're capitalizing and they're advancing their own political career.
Criminals aren't afraid of laws.
Why would they
Criminals don't care. Psychopaths don't care about your laws. All they care about is giving the middle finger to the law.
Yeah.
These kids that are doing the drive-bys every single night every single night in the city of Rochester, shooting up houses. And one of these days, they're going to kill someone inside a house. And maybe that's the goal.
Why doesn't
I don't
Bob
know.
Duffy, if I was Bob Duffy's Twitter handler.
I don't think he has a Twitter handler.
Well, I want to apply for the job.
Are we going to put bulletproof vests on 5-year-olds while they sleep?
Horrible.
Well, that's what we should do, right? If you're Bob Duffy, why doesn't Bob Duffy propose to make murder illegal? Why doesn't he propose to make shooting a house with a bullet illegal? Because then all the criminals would stop doing it, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
It sounds as ridiculous as you have to be 21 to purchase a beer, but you can purchase a Bushmaster AR-15 at 18 years
Bob
old.
Duffy, you should delete that tweet immediately because you're a fucking moron. You really are. You're a fucking moron.
Chad, why don't you post on Twitter? We need a law saying it's illegal to shoot a house.
Yeah, we do. We do. And right then and there, no more houses will get shot.
Yeah, that's it.
It's over.
Isn't it amazing? But I think you said it best. Criminals don't care about laws. The evil in their heart is going to stay there, and they're going to do evil, bad things unless we arrest them and lock them up forever.
Yeah.
We don't let them out after 20 years because we feel bad for them.
Or
what's
they're an
Duffy's take
ordained
on
minister.
what's Duffy's take on bail reform? What's Duffy's take on 92% of the murderers?
You know what it is.
Are parolees right
Why
now?
are you even asking that question? You know
Well,
what it is.
because I'm as stupid as he is, apparently.
Okay. Well, you know what his take is on bail reform.
Is it 7:00 yet?
Yeah, you know what it is.
Are your cans clean, Kimberly?
My cans are so clean. Hey, you're listening and watching Kimberly's
No
Revolution
comment.
on the We the People podcast network. Please support our advertisers. Taylor's Heating and Plumbing, Express Sealers, get your driveway sealed. And of course, Precision Lawn and Garden, which is up in Webster. They support us. They make everything happen here. They keep us going. We need that. If you want
Buy
to
a
advertise,
damn lawnmower.
if you want to advertise, reach out to us. You can reach out to me on my Facebook page or just Tom. You can do that. So we would appreciate that. Did you know that almost half of President Biden's Twitter followers are fake? They're bots. Over half of
Shocking.
President Biden's Twitter followers are fake. That's according to an audit done by Elon Musk
Right.
as he is set to take over Twitter.
So you got one fake follower?
Do you
then?
know that the contract for buying Twitter, if he backs out, he has to pay $1 billion? And he's thinking about doing that.
So does he take that out of his left pocket or his right pocket?
He's got a zillion more of those billions.
But that's the buyout agreement.
He's got a zillion
Could
more
you imagine
billions.
a real estate contract like that?
That'd be great. That'd be great. 49% of Twitter followers of the at President of the United States account are fake. I mean, I get people that follow me, and some of them look so weird. I'm just like, okay, no, they're blocked. I don't have time.
I told you not to talk about Tom when he's around.
Yeah, you blocked me, by the way.
I did not block you.
No, I know you did.
Of course I did not block you. What else you got? You got something else you want to talk about?
Before we move on,
Yeah.
I did get a picture sent to me by Lavelle.
Did Lavelle send a picture?
Should we look at this off the record first?
Well, you know, it's a police car parked outside the local Costco. You know, just you know,
so we see it.
Would this be a Brighton police car?
Yeah.
Why is there a cop car at Costco?
Where is it?
Maybe they need toilet paper. Or maybe they need.
It's right there.
Chad,
right
maybe they need baby formula. How about that?
Am I getting feedback? Or is it just me?
Yeah, I heard some earlier. That's why I took my headset off.
I don't know.
But again, look,
Chad, what's your take on baby formula? We got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, let's first
I posted about that today on my Facebook.
Baby formula?
I posted on my Facebook. I said maybe Austin will be
I
able
got
to find
9
it.
cans out of Walmart today for baby formula.
I posted on Facebook. I said, where do I get my baby formula flag that I can hang on my flagpole just below my Ukrainian flag?
You were so bad. I want to touch on BLM real quick because BLM is, of course, they're coming under fire for good reason because they had such a huge influx of donations.
By bullets, I hope.
And the BLM founder, Patrice Cullors, has, after audits, they were stopped from accepting donations in the state of California because after audits found that they were not exactly whose money is it anyway? After audits found that they weren't exactly spending their money the way that a 401c3 ought to be. Is that the
501?
501. A 501c3 ought to be spending their money. So the BLM founder, Patrice Cullors, it found out during an audit that not only did she buy this big mansion that she paid, I don't know how many millions for.
Whose money was it?
$6 million, I think. But the BLM founder, Patrice Cullors, also paid her baby daddy. Can we see a picture of baby daddy? There's baby daddy. $970,000 for creative services.
It was child support.
$970,000 Patrice Cullors paid her baby daddy. She paid her brothers $840,000 for security.
It was reparations.
And she paid a fellow director.
Well, wait a minute.
Those are her brothers.
Did anything happen to her? So the $840,000 was a bargain.
Right. But here's the problem is that BLM was founded basically I know. Is that where it's coming from? The feedback? BLM was founded because of what happened to Trayvon Martin in Florida. That's where BLM really kind of, got its upstart. And
he looked like Obama's son, I heard.
Do you know how much BLM paid the Trayvon Martin Foundation?
$1 million.
Probably $5.12.
$200,000.
Well, that's a huge number.
So
I made that yesterday.
Black Lives Matter paid the co-founder's baby daddy 5 times the amount the group doled out to the Trayvon Martin Foundation.
What it was actually founded to promote.
Which was a
fund.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So the company.
And how much of that 200,000 actually went to any good?
It's a good question. I mean, I have no idea.
Probably went to the executive director's salary for 2 years.
So the baby daddy is a rapper and artist, and he is the father of Patrice Cullors' young son, and he runs a Los Angeles-based entertainment and clothing company. He was also selling $145 sweatshirts on the BLM website.
We can't get $9 for the.
I know.
Buy a damn t-shirt.
I know. Exactly.
We just have the what's the accountability board there, Mr. Connor?
A consulting firm run by
t-shirt.
A consulting firm run by the BLM board member Shaloma Bowers was paid $2.1 million for providing operational support.
Of course.
I mean, you look, and of course, it was a $6 million mansion that she bought with donations made by people from around the country and around the world that were spent on her providing birthday parties for her family. I mean, you always
America's
let the buyer beware.
America's
it's your money.
Place, isn't it?
You spend it any way you want, but these people are laughing at you.
I'm sure that's true with pretty much any non-for-profit organization.
Laughing.
How much of your
Right.
$50 actually goes to somebody that needs it? When you give money to the March of Dimes.
Whose money is it anyway?
Right. That $50 you give to the March of Dimes probably
No,
12 cents goes to a
it's
kid.
paying the upper echelon.
Yeah.
If you give $50 to the We the People Podcast Network, we are going to
all $50 will go directly to Austin.
Yeah, all the money will go to the alcoholic room.
As it
Yeah.
should be.
We're gonna make sure that only the best whiskey is in the bar in the other room.
I don't
It
drink
will go to
whiskey.
Irondequoit Liquor or Austin.
You guys don't even ask me
Or
if I
both.
want wine. The refrigerator isn't stocked with wine. You just get your whiskey. You don't even ask me if I want a drink.
Wow.
My
And
name's
on
on the
that
damn show.
note,
All right, that's going to do it for the Kimberly's Revolution for today on the We the People Podcast Network. We want to thank all the Patriots for tuning in. Tell a friend. Tell someone to advertise.
Share the damn thing.
Why not? Don't make us beg you or anything like that. All right, that's going to do it for me. I'm Kimberly, of course, Chad Hummel.
thank you.
We appreciate you. Just Tom, of course, we appreciate Just
I'm
Tom
here.
and Austin. And as we always say,
God bless. Be kind to others.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.